Hey, good morning, pastors and leaders here in our great city of Pasadena. Glad to see all of you here, and I'm just so thankful that you came this morning. And we have just this awesome opportunity to hear from one of our mayoral candidates. Just a quick, I guess a point of order. This event is in partnership with our One Church Pasadena Ministers Alliance that meets the second Tuesday of every month. Our time that we meet is 8 a.m., and the next meeting will actually be held here at Community Transformation Pasadena. If you haven't been to one of those or haven't been in a while, we'd love for you to come and be a part. It's an incredible group of pastoral leaders, and I'm sure that all of you agree that pastoral leaders should be running together, especially for the sake of their city. And that's one of the reasons why we put this kind of vision piece on the screen. It's my city, my responsibility. And this is a moment in time where, as pastoral leaders, we have this awesome responsibility of raising awareness within our community. We wanted to have this event today, even though it's the early voting day, so that you can get ahead of your congregations this Wednesday and Sunday or any day in between that you guys meet, to share your perspective on this mayoral race. We want to get voters out. We want to get our community motivated to help the next generation and upcoming policy that needs to be created come forward. And so while this isn't a partisan forum, this isn't us bringing forward a single candidate to say, hey, will you vote for this candidate? We wanted you to hear from both of them. Unfortunately, this morning, Rex said that he could not make it due to a schedule conflict. He wanted to be at the polls for early voting, which is understandable. We tried to make some considerations the best that we could to reschedule the meeting, but there was some unavailability from you guys as pastoral leaders and community leaders. So we just said, hey, if you can stop by, please do. But if you do have questions for Rex, he's at the Center Street voting station. You can connect with him there. He's at the tent. I have confirmation. A friend of mine just went over there, and I'm honestly not trying to make a stab or say anything ugly, because I do understand. I truly understand why he's not here. But in fairness, I did want to still keep the event on and give Councilman Schoenbein the opportunity to speak, because he's been very accommodating. So would you help me welcome Councilman Thomas Schoenbein to the stage?
Well, good morning, everyone. Did y'all's morning start at 3:45 this morning? Mine did. It's pretty incredible, the journey that we've been on the last couple of years. But it all started a long time ago. Without my faith in Christ and being a Christian, I couldn't go through what I'm going through today. Our family, we've been married, me and my wife, 40 years. 2 wonderful children and their families, 3 grandchildren, and that's our life. We have worked in Pasadena. I started out working at Phillips Chemical Company off of 225. I worked out there for about 11 and a half years. I left a year and a half after the explosion in '89. That's where God really moved in my life, and I'll be honest with you, that's where I matured and became a man, because going through things like that really challenges you, and realize that there's more to life than just ourselves. After that, I was recruited by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I was a director for them for 20 years, and that gives me the business experience to lead our great city. I just want to share a couple of things. Over the last 8 years, we've done some pretty remarkable things. We have built, we're going on 3 new fire stations now, a police and training facility, also a fire academy, a new courthouse. We've done some really good things. However, we can't stay complacent. We have to move forward. We have opportunities in our city. We have areas of our city that are struggling. We have people that are struggling. Some of the areas that are struggling is our small business community. We need to look at our permit department. We need to revamp our permit department so that we can encourage small businesses to come and thrive in Pasadena. It shouldn't take 6, 8 months to get a permit for certain things. Those things should be done in 2 weeks. You ask our small business owners, they're being stifled by having to wait because they're either putting up their life savings to invest in their small business as their dream, or they've went out and got a hard loan and they have interest on it that they have to pay back. So if they can't get their contractors in there to do the work, well, they're paying the interest and they're losing the time. So time is of the essence to get these projects completed. Also, too, we need to recognize that we need to give great customer service. My background at Academy was service-oriented, and we always put the customer first. And as a taxpayer, you're the customer. You shouldn't have to wait 6, 8 months, a year, 2 years to get a pothole filled. You shouldn't have to wait a year, 2, 3 years after reporting standing water or a backed up sewer line to be replaced. We need to have systems in place that are available to us to where we can go out and geo-point and geolocate every single call that comes in and every single incident that is reported, and you, the customer, will have a record of it to where you'll know the anticipated date of work starting, where the project is, and a completion date, an expectation for when it's going to be completed. Right now, you make a phone call, and then you make another phone call, and then you make another phone call. And, that's not how we should run our city. We should be transparent. We should hold our employees accountable because they're providing a service and you're the customer. We're going to surround ourselves with the best of the best people. We're not going to do business as usual with political appointments. We have committees that we want to place individuals, and when they submit an application or a desire to serve on a committee, we want to vet those people and make sure that they have the experience and the knowledge to perform the task of that committee. Many of y'all are pastors in this room, and you depend on committees to run your churches. If you get folks on your committee that just want to talk or just want to chase rabbits or you rumble through the weeds, or you're not going to accomplish anything. Think about going through a building project. When you put someone on your building project committee, you look for certain qualifications. One person or 2 people need to be your finance people. Wouldn't it be common sense to get a banker or a loan officer on that committee? Building design, a couple of contractors would be a good start. Also, too, you're going to have a fundraising program. Some folks that can really go out and understand the mechanisms of raising money to get a project like that done, because they're not cheap. You have to have people with experience. And what you do is you go out and you vet those people. You just don't walk through the hall and say, hey, would you like to be on a committee? Because they bring good donuts or kolaches. I mean, it shouldn't work like that. And that's the same principle for our city. Qualified and experienced people. Because what we're doing is we're giving back to the citizens. I'm on a job interview right now. This is what this is all about. Yes, I'm a, quote, political candidate, but this is a job interview. You should look at our qualifications. I have petrochemical industry experience. I have real business world experience. I've met a payroll. My budget was $40 to $60 million. My buildings were anywhere from 80,000 to 120,000 square feet that I managed. 200 to 250 employees at any given time. I've been on city council for 8 years. I'm going to tell y'all a secret, so don't let it leave this room, okay? Y'all are pastors, come on now. So being on council is to me a true honor. My name is on everything that we have voted for in this city for the last 8 years. Everything. And I will tell you this, being mayor is a incredible responsibility, because in our city we have a strong mayor form of government. You're the CEO, the COO, the CFO. It's you're the say. You're the one that puts things on the agenda. However, there's one caveat to all this. You can be the most popular person. You can be the best looking person. You can be the not as bright person. But the one thing that you have to have is you have to have a city council that works with you and supports you. And you have to work with 8 other people to get things done in the city. My plan is, and I have felt this over my 8 years, that city council members really weren't that involved in city decisions for the most part. I will take each city council member one by one, and we will go through their district, and we will identify the greatest needs in their district. We will work together, we'll develop a plan, and we will have an execution plan of how it's going to get fixed and when it's going to get fixed, so that they can go back to their residents in their districts when they have their meetings or HOA meetings, civic center meetings, or just regular conversations, and share with people how they're going to fix it and when it's going to get done. That's how you build a team. It's those one-on-one relationships. And I think doing that will grow our city and really have our citizens excited, because we need buy-in and we need ownership. The other thing we want to look at is how clean is our city. You drive through our city and you know, you got to take the blinders off. I'm going to challenge you to take the blinders off when you leave here today. How many empty lots do you see where the grass has grown up knee-high or higher? How many folks are having rodent problems or different things because there's a business next door to them that doesn't keep up their property? How many times have you drove down the street and just seen just an ugly area, to put it quite simply? We can do better than that. We need to hold people accountable, get these lots cleaned up, get businesses in here, let them, show that they have ownership in our community. We need to allow code enforcement to do their job. We have many areas that have 10, 15 cars in a front yard. That's not acceptable. We have city ordinances that prevent that. And we want to give our departments the tools to complete their job. Some of our departments are very, very, very short-handed, and we need to give them the resources to do their job. The other thing that I'd like to share with you is that one of the things that's very important to me is, especially being a Christian, is having our faith-based community come together. Things like this are remarkable. I would like to have, I know this is a pretty optimistic goal, Nick, but where's Bo? I saw Bo earlier. Having some type of meeting or group that meets once a month, so that we can kind of identify the needs of our community. I'll tell you what, our faith-based community sees a lot of things. You see the homeless need. You see folks that need resources like food or health issues that need to be addressed. I would like to work with y'all to work with the ministries to provide better services. Also, too, I'd like to see if we could establish a veterans center here in Pasadena. We're the second largest city in Harris County. And, Houston struggles with just a veterans center. And we have several thousand veterans here in Pasadena, but they need to have a location they can go to so they can understand how they can get their benefits or what they need to do and how they need to do it in relationship to, getting their benefits. They need help with computers and different things like that. Many of them don't have those resources. So if we could work together and develop something like that, I think that's a win-win, not only for that veteran, but for their families as well. Again, I go back to, we've done a lot of great things over the last 8 years. And hopefully over the next 4 years or 8 years that I'm your mayor, we're going to do a lot of great things as well. But the next person after me needs to have the same vision and have the blinders off and see things that maybe we didn't do or accomplish that they can do. And it needs to be carried on over and over and over. And then finally, I'll close with this. I was actually at a prayer meeting the other night that I got invited to go to someone's home. And you know the story about Hannah, right? She was barren, and the Lord had closed her womb. And it's amazing that the devotional that was shared that night, and I'd never heard it kind of shared this way. Her womb was barren because God had chosen to make it that way. And there was a lot of jealousy and different things going on and pride going on. And she prayed to God, and she prayed to God, and she prayed to God. And God opened her womb, and she had Samuel. But the thing that got me was that when she prayed to give her child back to the Lord. She didn't pray to keep the child. What'd she do? She prayed to give it away. And that really struck me the other night. And it kind of summed things up. I think that's why I feel like running for mayor is so important, is because I want to give back to God. We have a godly community. We have a lot of churches in this city. And with the faith and the conviction and the willingness of Christians to come together and work, there's no reason we can't be that shining city up on the hill. When people come to Pasadena, they need to say, hey, I went to a great city. They're friendly, they're outgoing, it's clean, it's inviting, there's a lot of great shops, and I may want to come back, or I may want to buy a house here, or I may want to get an apartment, or I may want to raise my family, things like that. And that's what community is. Community's people. We're a faith-based community, and I truly believe that. We have many different faiths. We have many different visions on our politics. But I'll tell you what, Pasadena, being the second largest city in Harris County, we're a small town, folks. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody hears all the rumors, the gossip. It's like a little Peyton place at times. But the thing is that when there's times of trouble, this city comes together like never before. Let me think of some things that we've gone through just the last 8 years. Hurricane Harvey, do y'all remember that? The winter storms, the freezes that we've actually had, what, a couple of those. We've had Memorial Day floods. We had a tornado, and then we had another hurricane, and people came together. I can't tell you while I was out and about how many people I saw that didn't even know who their neighbors were, that went over and knocked on a neighbor's door or went down 2 or 3 houses down and knocked on their door and said, hey, I got some extra gasoline for your generator, or I've got some food for you, or I got some water, different things like that. We are a community, and I think we can do better, and that's why I'm running for mayor. And my name's Thomas Schoenbein. Please consider me. I've lived here 50 years. I love this community. And Nick, I'm here for y'all. So if anybody, I guess, would like to ask any questions, nothing's off the table. If I know the answer, I'll share. If I don't, I'll tell you I don't.
All right. Let me make sure our mic's working.
Nick, I don't know how you do all the lights.
Yeah. It makes it easier when I can't see how the crowd's
There you
taking
go.
the message. Check, check, check.
Will you check mic 1? Thank you. Mr. Scheinbaum?
Schoenbein. Yes,
Sorry.
sir. Yeah, that's good. I'm Thomas.
Well, my name is Stoltz, so I can relate. How would you describe our school system, PISD?
So with Pasadena Independent School District, in my district, I have 3 school districts. Pasadena actually encompasses 3 school districts. We have PISD, we have Deer Park ISD, and few people know that we have Clear Creek ISD in my Clear Lake area as well. I think our school districts they're challenged in many ways. We just went through a school board election. It was very disheartening to see some of the results on the school board races. I will say this, that the school boards are a different entity from the city of Pasadena. However, they're all intertwined with the workings. The city of Pasadena sponsors and supports events for all 3 school districts within the city. They have their own board of trustees. They're mandated by a lot of state policies. And I truly believe that our school district should put our children first. And we should get rid of any ideology, if I said that correctly, that is contrary to raising our kids and giving them the best education that they deserve. When we have kids that struggle to read and write at the 3rd grade, 5th grade, 6th grade level, we're setting them up for not a very successful life. We need to make sure that parents go to meetings, parents express their opinions, their expectations. Again, the school board they're on a job interview. And if it's not the way that our community wants our children to be raised, we should have the ability to voice our opinions and exercise our right to vote. I know there's books in the schools and things like that are inappropriate. I believe that as a Christian, they shouldn't be in the schools. We should protect our children from those issues. I think that's more probably the point that you wanted me to address. Yes, sir.
Yes, I want to thank you for coming today. I know that we can find and point out problems, but I wanted to share what I feel could be some answers. When I came to Pasadena about 30 years ago, there was an employment office in the mall, and it disappeared. We still got people here, and it's in an enterprise zone. And I wonder, why did they take it out of Pasadena? We had a place we can get driver's license right across from Kroger's grocery store, but it disappeared. Why? We still got people here. There was a immigration. I hired a guy to do some work for me. He said his mother brought him to the state when he was a child, and he's still waiting on paperwork to get processed. Why would it take so long? Can we help immigration, since we know we have a lot of Latinos here that's struggling with that? Streets, I don't have to see them. My tires on the car tell me there's a pothole there.
It's true.
I don't have to look for it. And I called the action line. And I have called the action line again. And I called the action line again. And Lord have mercy, we should be able to afford a couple of bags of concrete. I'm talking about dealing with the problem instead of just saying, hey, why is there so many problems? I'm glad you're here, and I pray God you'll be able to help us.
Well, you point out some excellent concerns, and the way we address those is, quite frankly, we have $120 million in our general fund, and that's extra money above and beyond. Now, you got to look at that money because we have to have, by law, a certain reserve for disasters or different things like that so we can operate the city. So each storm that comes through normally costs us between $20 to $30 million. So we have to have those revenues in reserve if something happens. So we've averaged basically one event every year for the last 8 years. Now, there's something to say that with the way the weather's changing or this, that, or the other, there's nothing to say that we couldn't have 2 weather events in 1 year. So now we're talking $40 to $60 million. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in there and we're going to look at our budget and we're going to reassign our budget dollars, and we're going to have a fixed number. You know, it may be that we have $90 million that we need to keep all the time in our reserve. That covers us for 3 major events. You know, and then that other money that we have, we look at it and we say, okay, well, we're not raising taxes for the next 2 or 3 years, and we're going to take that money and we're going to reinvest it back into the community because it's your tax dollars. It needs to come back to you. We just don't need to be putting money in the bank year after year after year. I mean, everything that we spend that goes out for a disaster, we turn into FEMA to get reimbursed. Now, granted, we're still getting reimbursement from Hurricane Ike. That's been, 20 years ago? I mean, they're very slow to pay back. But we can use our revenues in a better way to address those issues. It shouldn't take 6 months, 8 months to fill a pothole. And the thing is, we're not fixing it right the first time. Because we all know that when you go and fix a pothole with the patch, with the asphalt or whatever, when it rains again, it washes out and you still have the same problem. So we need to fix these problems right the first time. And I think we can all agree with that. If we halfway do something, we have to go back and spend even more money to fix it over and over and over again. So fix it right, plan and fix it right the first time. And you've got some great points. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I got two questions. First, you talked about the sexually explicit content within the school districts. The state of Texas just approved a law that the governor will be signing soon, the obscenity law that's going to go into effect here soon, which removes educators out of the penal code out of protection. That's how they were able to continue to show porn to children. My question to you, sir, is if if they're audited and they continue to purchase and allow porn within our school districts, are you going to enforce the law? Because what will happen is as a mayor, you will have to have your police officers go up and start making arrests. Are you willing to do that for our community?
I will, I'm not dodging any question. I made that very, very clear. The first place I would start in our own backyard with our city public library. I would ensure that we don't have that in our libraries. And then I would enforce the law, and I would work with the school district and the state to enforce the law, yes.
Awesome. And if you need help auditing the public library, just let me know.
Thank you.
Second part is there's a convention center that is going to be built. And my question is, you know, because there's a lot of money going into that, how your plans, how are you going to generate revenue to put back into the city when there's so much money going out to a convention center and another convention center that isn't always booked out generating revenue? It's only multiple times throughout the year. Are we going to be able to reach out to new businesses and to be able to generate revenue within the city?
I get that question more than any other question. And this is, I guess, the easiest way that I can explain this. So the convention center is a $50 million project, and it was approved and went through our Economic Development Corporation. Since then, there have been some real flaws in the convention center that have developed over the course of the last 2 years. They have struggled with design plans. They have struggled with getting contractors, different things like that. What I will do when I first go in there, we're going to stop the project. We're going to reevaluate the project. If we have to readjust the plans to make it more efficient, we're going to do that. My vision for the convention center right now, basically we have gun shows, reptile shows, and hot tub shows. And, you know, there's some other events in there, but those are the main ones. But what I want to do is I want to protect the culture of the Pasadena Livestock Show and Rodeo. I want to protect the culture of the Strawberry Festival. But for the convention center itself, the convention center should be a mecca for this region right here. We have the Port of Houston. We have Bayport just over here off of 146 and Fairmont in that area. This is the economic engine in our area that drives our country. There's more tonnage that comes through the port here than any other port destination except for maybe about 3 or 4. And we need to have industry involved in our convention center with technology shows, conventions, different things like that. Also, too, one thing that I'd love to see is I would love to see our churches come together and you know, maybe have yearly worship services in there. You know, we've done it with football stadiums, so why can't we do it with a convention arena? But we need to attract businesses with it being designed properly. It needs to have breakout rooms. It needs to have the ability to host some of the major events. We have a convention center in one of our sister cities in Baytown, and it struggles because it doesn't have the amenities that it needs to draw businesses to it. That was their focus when they first built that one, is to try to have business conferences, but they didn't design it correctly. So what I want to do is I want to get with our business community out at the chemical plants and the petrochemical industry folks, economic folks that will come in that have done some really good venues throughout the state of Texas. What is it? Smart Financial Center is one example of things that we can look at to make our convention center viable for us going forward.
I have two questions, please. The first one is there have been several city-sponsored activities that have involved the church community either as collection sites or as a volunteer pool, and those are the canned food drive, the school supply drive, Fill the Bus, and also the Team Up to Clean Up Day of Community Service. Would you see under your administration those type of activities continuing pretty much as they are?
Well, yes, but I would like to expand them and develop them into opportunities, not only to be maybe once a year, but maybe twice a year or once a quarter, because our food pantries, it's ebb and flow with our food pantries. They get the vast amount of their food from the food drive, and there's a lot of opportunity to get out to other churches and share that with them as well. So I look at the possibility that we could expand those.
Okay, great, thank you. And secondly, I live 1.3 miles from City Hall. Pastor Ballard is my neighbor right down the block. And I don't know about him, but we suffer a great deal from noise pollution, more than anything from loud music, and not necessarily localized where you can call the police and say, you know, someone is playing loud music here, I can go take care of that myself. But through ambient noise, someone is in the parking lot at the apartment complex across the street and they're just sitting there playing loud music for a short period of time and then drive away. They're at the corner of Pasadena Boulevard and Burke at the light, which is 150 yards from my house, and I'm listening to what they're listening to. Or they're driving down Burke away from my house halfway to Spencer, and I can hear it a half a mile away. And so that's a difficult problem to and as well glass pack mufflers. But the music is by far the most disconcerting, and I know that's a difficult problem to tackle. But I wanted to see if you had given any thought to that, or if you had any ideas for how that might be something that could be reduced or eliminated.
So one of the opportunities that a mayor has is that he has a relationship with the chief of police, and you can offer those suggestions to the chief to implement a heightened awareness on it. We do that with high traffic areas with speeding. We'll put out a speed trailer or different things like that. And it all depends on kind of what time of day or night it is. But loud noise has become a problem in the city of Pasadena. And it's not just your area, it's all over the city. And we just need to put a focus on it. There's already city ordinances and laws that address that. We just need to enforce it.
Hey, so I got a question about permitting. So we recently, and I say recently, it's been a 2-year-long process, had to do some permitting with the city. We just moved into a new space. They came in, inspected, let us know that we couldn't have a gravel lot because of the no dust ordinance in Pasadena. That's a whole nother thing I will not get into why I think that's silly, but we had a gravel lot. We had just moved into the building. Obviously, we're a nonprofit. We give the majority of what we have away. Our ultimate goal of even having the property we're on is to open a community center that would benefit Pasadena totally. Within the permitting process, probably one of the most difficult processes I've ever experienced of just trying to, one, keep the parking we had because we didn't already have enough parking. So they said we had to put in a concrete lot, all that stuff. Well, choice between concrete, asphalt. And so we're like, okay, and we started looking at this. Well, even when we started doing the permitting process, between contacting different contractors, they would ask me, okay, where's your church at? As soon as I said it was in Pasadena, I kid you not, this was the sound I heard. Everybody sighing, audible sighs. And they would all say that is one of the hardest areas to work in. It's one of the hardest areas to deal with in permitting. We finally got a incredible contractor that did it, and they even told me, hey, we've worked with them many times. We know the tricks. Like, you got to know tricks to like be able to get permits. And I even witnessed when they were laying out the survey of the parking lot they were going to build, the permitting officer on the line with them in the Zoom call. I'm just a listener. Was literally trying to trap them, like try to kind of trip them up, and thankfully they knew their stuff. They just tried to claim it was a floodplain. Was not a floodplain. They pulled up the history to show it, and I'm kind of thinking, like, should it really be that tough? And and especially when you're talking about, you've got faith communities that are, all they're trying to do is give back to the city, and it's like we're getting hit up for everything possible. And again, and I kept saying this to each officer, each permit person I talked to, we're a nonprofit. We're not trying to make money. We're trying to give money away. And so that's more of a question, is like, do you have a plan for permitting? Because it really is a problem. So, I mean, just from personal experience, I don't feel like it should be that difficult, and I feel like I'm not the only one that's ever encountered the permit office, especially the, again, audible sighs I got from every person I talked to about permitting in Pasadena. So that's my question. What's your plan there on permitting?
So for the last 3 years, I've kind of been preaching about the permit department and sharing what we need to do, but it's kind of ironic that now the preachers are preaching to me about the permit department. So we got a few minutes. I'm going to start from the very beginning on the permit department, okay? So when an individual buys a piece of property or wants to do something with their piece of property, they have to go down and get a permit, and the permit process starts. So depending on what it is, let's just say it's a generator, a home generator. Why does it take 6-8 months to get a home generator installed? Well, number one, you've got to go and you have to have a site elevation plan, which is going to cost the homeowner in between anywhere from $400 to $1,200 for a site elevation plan for the slab for the generator. My question is, why? Let's put common sense back into our permitting department. You have an air conditioning unit that's outside your home. It's on a slab. It has to be X number of inches above your foundation. Simple fix. Why shouldn't the slab of the generator be the same qualification for that? I mean, if the water gets that high, it's going to flood that generator and it's going to trip the breakers and it's not going to work anyway, correct? Think about this. Somebody challenged me on this, and I thought I was really smart when I answered them. So they said, well, the generator's got to be up high because the water's going to be almost there, and it's got to keep working. Okay, well, let's go outside and let's look at your plugs outside in your brick or on the side of the wood of your house. They're normally about, what, 18 inches? So if that water gets higher than 18 inches, guess what? It shorts out everything. So why does the generator have to be up here? It's common sense. And but that's what we have to fix, is going back in and looking at all the requirements and putting common sense practices to work. There's no reason it should take that long. A generator is a life-saving piece of equipment for a lot of people. We have a lot of seniors that need their medicine, or they need to stay cool, things like that. So that's just one example of a quick fix. But the other things that go along with it, you say you have a building and the contractor comes in or the owner comes in and they have all their plans under their shoulders and the big rolls and they take it in there. Well, guess what? You don't just drop them off there at the first floor. You got to take them up to the 5th floor to get the engineering permits started. So once the engineering permits get started, you got to call them back to find out where it's at because nothing's online. So that contractor or that homeowner has to go back up there and drive however far, go up to the 5th floor, walk it back down to the 1st floor, and then it sits. And then they look at it and put their notes on it, and then they may have a note or two that they have to fix, and then guess what? It has to go back up to the 5th floor for engineering. Guess who has to take it? The homeowner of the business. Why? And that's what I want to simplify is we have technology, and I spoke about this in the Mayor's Forum at St. Jack College. They've been working on this for 4 years. 4 years to implement a software program that several municipalities in the state of Texas use, and they use it flawlessly. Some of our directors are complacent on wanting to put that software into practice. They've quite honestly, they've stalled, and it's unacceptable. And who does it hurt? It hurts you, the customer. You're our customers. It's ready to go. We just have to have the people that want to install it to make it work. Some folks are close to retirement. I get that. Change is hard. People, change is hard. It's not easy, and we have to work with folks to change their mindset and their attitude toward, I've got a great job, but it's my duty to give great customer service. I hope that helps. Yes, sir.
Yes, good morning. I'm Pastor Thomas, and we're here in Community of Faith. It's Vista Road. And I'm a member from organization. It's they call it NAC. It's National of Christian Association Churches for all United States and Puerto Rico, and for disasters. I have 3 experiences that kind of disappoint me, because when Harvey, we had that experience. We have the resource from this organization, and we have trailers with Pampers, like 100,000 Pampers, water, clothes, food, shoes, toilet paper. I remember that day that everybody was looking for toilet paper everywhere.
Yes.
So basically, we connect to the city. We went to have a meeting in the city to, I don't know how do you call it, the place that you designated to everybody can come and get the resources. And we was trying to let the city that our church is one of those places that everybody can come and get whatever they need. Because there were most trailers on the way waiting to make more space for the entire city of Pasadena. Unfortunately, when we have the meeting with that person, I really don't remember exactly the name, he told us that there's no disaster on Pasadena. There was no damage, and to look for different resources somewhere else except Pasadena. And he make a comment actually that those days they relocate families from Pasadena to Houston, because that way they rid of it, deshacerse? Yeah, rid of them to provide them that responsibility to those families. So like, we're gonna give it to Houston, they take care of that. And then I remember they have mountains of clothes and on the mall, and they call us because they wanna give us those clothes to sell it to other countries. But the need, we was on every single street with Kenny. Actually, he's just here. He was part of the. I have to build from our church. A lot of people, but they got tired. They just gave up because there were so many resources, and we have to you say reject, como rechazar? We had to reject it, the whole trailers that they was waiting for, because they said, how come you want more resource? And the people in charge in Pasadena, they said there's no damage. So yeah, they have to relocate it somewhere else except Pasadena. So I just want to bring this because this my city is my responsibility. And you just say something very important. And let me bring this example. I'm from Mexico, but not only Mexico, other countries, that there's any disaster, big disasters, and they have resources from countries from all the world, money and all kind of stuff. Unfortunately, the resources never go to the neighbors, to the family.
Right.
They go to the families. They got the power. I don't try to mean something else with this, but the last person, for in Mexico, for example, the government say that they receive millions of dollars from the United States and other countries, and the people that they really lost their houses, the president, he said, well, the neighbors need to help each other. Yes, but how about the resources that you have? Where's the money? Where's that? I remember Puerto Rico, they found warehouses with Maria, I think. They found some warehouses with water, ton of water, and the families searching for water. So you say something very important that we need to work hard on this. You have to have the qualified people for the right position, and because you're here in front of us, but there's should gotta be you have a people behind you, but the question is that the people behind you, they're doing the right thing and the right job. I don't know, my English is not 100%.
No, you're fine.
You know? But I got that experience because we are basically not compare Baptist church. It's a big church. We are a small church, and we take 2 trailers with Baptist church, and I remember the leader that he was in charge. He said, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, I'm Pastor Thomas from Comunidad de Fe." Okay, what do you need? No, I don't need nothing. I bring you 2 trailers with toilet paper. He said, "Praise the Lord. That's what I need." You know, that's what we need. Say, because people is asking for toilet paper, you know, but they got surprised and they said, how come you give us toilet paper instead of we provide you the whatever you need? Say, well, it's not who has more, who has less. It's who is in charge. Together for my city is my responsibility. But that's my concern, that sometimes the people behind is administrated, but sometimes they're not administrated. And for me, it was a bad experience because we lost so many resources for the community because, thank you.
So thank you very much for your comments. A couple of things that stand out to me, and again, I deal with, I try to work through things with common sense. And this is really just based on my experience over the last probably 35, 40 years being in business or in the petrochemical industry. You're talking about logistics is what you're talking about. And there needs to be plans in place before a storm or an event hits to have, say, we have an emergency management center that does it basically for the city services and things like that. But it could grow into having ministries involved in our emergency management center as well. We've got a couple of tremendous resources that probably should have been used during that time. Number one, we have a convention center that was sitting empty out there. the convention center needs backup generators. And we can use that for cooling stations or for a warming station. Who would ever think that we'd ever say a warming station here? But it can be utilized for those types of opportunities. There's buildings out there on our convention grounds that could have been used. You know, there could have been, you know, the logistical piece of having all the churches come together and having a list of what you have excess of or what you know you need, and then just, you know, barter with each other and just move those resources around to get it to the people that need it. We shouldn't have walked any resources out of the city of Pasadena. I mean, there was hundreds of homes that got flooded during that time. So great perspective. Thank you.
Councilman Shanebein, do you have time for maybe one more question? We've used up just about an hour of your day.
Yes, I have
Thank you,
time.
sir.
Good morning. Thomas, my name is Cynthia Ramirez, and I am part leader in my local church. We run a ministry for small business owners, and then also part of, we have a design firm here in Pasadena. Okay. So we are in the forefront of permitting all day long. And my question to you is, how do you plan? I heard that you plan to meet with the city council and maybe re-ramp or replan permitting. But how do you plan to actually hear the voices of the people that actually on the other side, they're the affected ones? For example, my clients all day long. The pastors, we have plenty of churches that are our clients. We have small business owners that, it is true, they run away from Pasadena and they no longer invest. And you mentioned when they are an owner, a lot of the times they're not the owner, they're the tenant. And they got into a contract and they had no idea of all the upcoming costs, nor the owner of the property, nor the future tenant, right? So then, yet they're stuck with even just permitting, architectural fees, structural fees, you name it. But how do you plan to actually know that information? You say to put some common sense, but how do you really know the common sense? How do you really come and hear that information that actually needs to be heard to make the difference? That's it. Thank you.
I'm a very hands-on person. I probably put more miles on my vehicle than all of y'all together in 1 year. But what we are going to do is I want to have opportunities. I don't know the logistical part of it yet, but I would like to start out once or twice, once a week or every 2 weeks, something like that, to have opportunities to come and meet the mayor. I want my office door to be wide open. It'll be a scheduled time. It'll be at a location there at the city hall that can accommodate, you know, the number of people that need to attend. And that will give folks an opportunity, and for me to have the opportunity to have an open door policy. And we can, you know, look at different ways to manage that. It could be certain topics, or it could be topics that local business owners want to address, you know, maybe through the chamber, they're hearing certain things from business owners, or maybe our faith-based communities hearing certain things, and we'll coordinate with them. And like I said, I'd like to do it at least once, twice a month, you know, to allow citizens to be active participants. And, you know, depending on the topic, we can even go as far as having our director over that department or whatever to come to be able to, you know, maybe talk to the folks after that for specific concerns or things that could be immediately addressed. You think that would help? Okay. He's coming with the hook.
I'm so thankful for you. Can we give it up for Councilman Shanebein? I want to recognize that today is the early voting, and instead of being at the polls, you are here with us. It says a lot to us, and we just want to thank you for doing that. Also, we were not going to do Q&A, so thank you for allowing us to do that with you. Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed every minute of it. Like I said, I'm on a job interview, and you're the employer, and I would appreciate your support. Check me out, vet me though, but do your research. That's all I ask. Just do your research. Thank you.
Well, guys, our event was booked from 9 a.m. to 11, but because our other candidate could not be here, we're going to go ahead and give you an hour back of your day. Can we just give the Lord a hand clap of praise in this? No, I'm kidding. You don't have to applaud for that. I'm really thankful that you were here. I just want to reiterate a couple of dates. So the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday of every month, there's a One Church Pasadena Minister Alliance that comes together and to talk about the kind of situations that you're dealing with right now. Our next one is going to be June 10th, and it's going to be hosted right here. There's going to be breakfast provided. You won't have to fast like you did today. We'll have holy food like donuts. Come on, somebody. And sorry, I'll wrap this up. But we want you to come. Please, we want you to be a part of that. It's at 8 a.m. I know that's early. We'll have extra coffee. And then also, if you're a part of the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce, you can be a part of our nonprofit network. The nonprofit network is churches and nonprofits that are members with the Chamber of Commerce that meet here on the first Thursday at 9 a.m. Breakfast is provided. We're also working towards a lot of the things that you brought up today. So I just want to thank you guys for making time. I mean, it's so challenging to get all of this pastoral leadership in one room. Please take what you heard today, get it in front of your congregation, your leaders, this Wednesday, this Sunday, or whenever you meet, and just bring the awareness. We do need changes in our city. We need our city to be attractive to businesses and families that want to live in a thriving community. We have a thriving faith community that supports that idea. Now it's our chance to get our people to help elevate a mayoral candidate of your choice, of your choosing, to bring that idea forward as well. We want businesses and we want families to thrive in Pasadena. So before we go, can we just pray together for our city? Father, we thank you that this morning we gather together in your name, ultimately lifting up your agenda. We say, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, but Lord, let it be in Pasadena as it is in heaven. Lord, through your leadership team sitting in this room, Father, you've brought together the all-stars that are building the saints and building the body for a move of God right here. And Lord, we're trusting that you would help us partner with every system in place within our community to bring your agenda to light and to bring transformation to our community. We thank you, God. We pray that you would bless all of our elected officials and all of our leaders that have been put in place as we recognize all authority has come from you. So, God, we honor you this morning. We bless your name. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you guys for coming out. Feel free to stick around and network, but we just thank y'all for coming.